Exclusive, Tottenham insider expects one of world's best managers to replace Postecoglou. Welcome back to Tottenham News Today channel. Respected Tottenham Hotspur insider Paul O Keefe believes the club will appoint Brentford manager Thomas Frank to replace Ange Postecoglou, writing on X. Postecoglou suffered a double blow on Thursday night with another defeat against Chelsea, his 16th in 30 Premier League matches, while his relationship with Spurs fans took a new hit as he appeared to cup his ear to them after he thought Pape Sarr had equalised at Stamford Bridge. The Australian had been on the end of chants of "you don't know what you're doing" after bringing on Sarr and Brennan Johnson to replace Wilson Odobert and Lucas Bergvall. Postecoglou. Surely closer to Tottenham Sack, Frank could be one of the frontrunners to succeed him. The catastrophic number of defeats in the top flight means Spurs are 14th with 8 matches left to play, with their season and their chances of winning a trophy now solely down to how they perform in the Europa League quarter-finals against Eintracht Frankfurt next week. GIVEMESPORT sources exclusively revealed last month that Frank is on the club's shortlist should they decide to sack Postecoglou, having done a brilliant job at London rivals Brentford. And O'Keefe believes the 51-year-old, described as one of the best managers in the world, is the favourite to get the job after Fabrizio Romano wrote for GIVEMESPORT about interest in Bournemouth's Andoni Iraola, Fulham's Marco Silva and Inter Milan's Simone Inzaghi. While Frank has done a fine job with the Bees, it feels as though it is now only a matter of time before he is given a shot at a bigger club. Tottenham are interested in signing Lions' highly rated playmaker Ryan Cherki, but there is a catch. To avoid another chaotic campaign, the Hotspur Way Chiefs have started mapping out potential targets. A creative midfielder could do well for Spurs, given James Maddison's lack of consistency. Perhaps that is why the Lilywhites are reportedly keeping close tabs on Lion midfielder Ryan Cherki. Ryan Cherki, who has long been rated as one of the brightest prospects in European football, has not yet managed to live up to his high potential at Lyon. This season, though, there has been a change for good, with the youngster finally starting to deliver consistent performances and becoming one of the leaders of Lyon's attack. Following 8 goals and 18 assists in 35 appearances across all competitions, the France youth international has underlined why he is rated some highly across the continent. As Cherki will enter the final 12 months of his contract at the end of June and has an agreement with Lyon that will allow him to depart for less than £25 million this summer, several European clubs have been put on red alert. Fabrizio Romano has shared an interesting update on the Lions star. He revealed details about Cherki's supposed release clause in his contract, but a deal won't be easy to do. Yes, but it's not an easy clause. Lyon insists there are certain conditions to be met, so it's not that simple. In any case, for me, it's a potential bargain as he is an excellent talent, Romano wrote in his latest GIVEMESPORT newsletter. Lyon are in financial trouble and have been handed a provisional relegation to League Two as a result, which could force them to make some high-profile sales at the end of the season. Cherki is among those players, and Tottenham must take advantage of the French club's financial instability and try to sign him. In Cherki, the Lilywhites would get a versatile midfielder who is comfortable playing on the right flank and through the middle as a no.10. This should not only make the French-born Algerian a good option to improve the productivity, but also to compete with Brennan Johnson on the right wing. Also, he fits the North Londoners' transfer strategy of finding young talents with high potential. Tottenham Hotspur are on course to trigger their option to buy Mathys Tel, instead of allowing him to head back to Bayern Munich at the end of his loan deal, as he is being viewed as a potential long-term replacement for Hotspur Way fan favourite Heung-min Son, GIVEMESPORT sources have revealed. Spurs expected to use option to purchase Tel, France under-21 international, enjoying time in London since switch. Tottenham are likely to seal the deal to keep Tel beyond the end of the season, according to GIVEMESPORT sources, as there is a strong belief among key decision-makers that he will prove to be money well spent after an acknowledgement that he headed to North London in a difficult period. Spurs have an option to buy the forward for £45 million, thanks to the terms agreed with Bundesliga title chasers Bayern Munich in the final hours of the winter transfer window, and they attempted to take advantage even though he was reduced to a late substitute appearance against cross-capital rivals Chelsea in midweek. GIVEMESPORT sources have been informed that Tell is thought to be enjoying life in London, despite still searching for his first Premier League goal and failing to make himself an automatic starter. And members of the Tottenham hierarchy are adamant that he fits the profile they want on board as they look to progress. The France under-21 international's mid-season arrival at Spurs came after he initially snubbed the opportunity to join Postecoglou's charges when a big-money deal was agreed, only to change his mind due to it becoming clear that he would be forced to contend with limited game time if he remained at Bayern Munich. Tottenham have not made a final decision on Tell's future, but GIVEMESPORT sources have learned that they are leaning towards keeping him in his current surroundings as there is increasing confidence that his form will improve after joining a side low on confidence and languishing in the bottom half of the Premier League. Sources have been told there remains a possibility that Tottenham will sell Captain Son in the summer, despite triggering an option to extend his contract by 12 months a matter of weeks ago, and Tell has been earmarked as a potential long-term successor as their first-choice option on the left flank. Influential figures at Tottenham are certain that Tell will fit seamlessly into their first-choice starting lineup over time, GIVEMESPORT sources understand, and tying him down to a permanent agreement will not have an impact on the capital club's other transfer plans as they would still aim to acquire another attacker if he stays. Tottenham Hotspur have just learned that Jamie Gittens is expected to be on the move this summer, but they may have a big hoop to jump through to land the winger. One man who has been heavily linked with a move to N17 over recent months is a young English stalwart who is turning a lot of heads in the Bundesliga this season. Tottenham are thought to be keen on signing Jamie Gittens, whose future at Borussia Dortmund is said to be in doubt. The winger has scored 11 goals this season for a struggling Dortmund side, with 4 of those strikers coming in the Champions League, and a fresh report has now shed light on his current situation at Signal Iduna Park. A new report in Sportbild has now talked up the possibility of the Englishman exiting Dortmund this summer. The report says that the German club's porting failure this season could push Gittens out of the exit door, with the likes of Tottenham circling. The outlet says that many of Dortmund's top players will leave this summer if the club fail to secure Champions League qualification, with Gittens being one of them. The report says that the 20-year-old would find it difficult to accept remaining at the club if they do not qualify for Europe's premier club competition. This potentially poses a problem for Spurs as well as it indicates that they have to secure passage into the Champions League via the Europa League in order to attract Gittens. Sportbild say that Dortmund wish to hang on to the winger and would be extremely reluctant to allow him to leave this summer. However, it is explained that the German club would have to sell players in order to raise funds for their transfer targets and may thus have to cash in on Gittens. The England under-21 international is not expected to come cheap, with Dortmund not in the mood to accept anything less than £50 million for the youngster. That wraps up today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with all things Tottenham, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for our latest content. Be sure to give this video a like and share it with fellow Spurs supporters. Let's grow the Tottenham News Today community together. Thanks for tuning in. And as ever, come on you Spurs.